So I had the mentality of just saying yes to whatever they asked for. So I get a picture, can you make this? And the answer was yes. And that yes mentality just ended up getting us a lot more time on television, more exposure for the business, and of course for our industry. So we got to change the mentality of recruiting because, as you know, we don't treat millennials the same way. We don't talk about them the same way as we do the rest of the world. So there's a conversation that takes place. I'm going to walk you through it. I think it's a fun conversation, and it happens everywhere I go. It doesn't matter if it's at a glass show or a plumbing show or whatever. There's going to be a guy walk up to me, and he's going to say, hey, man, what are we going to do about these dadgum millennials? And I'll say, well, okay, first of all, you know, dadgum is an adjective here, right? It's a descriptive word. I'll say, well, what do you mean by dadgum? And he'll say, well, you know, I mean, they're lazy. They're hard to talk to. They're entitled. Okay. What percentage of millennials that you're dealing with are dadgum millennials? Psh, man, all of them. Really? All of them. So 75 million people are lazy, hard to talk to, and entitled. Okay. So if they're all that way, what are you doing to get on their level? And the answer is always the same. It never surprises me. Nothing. Okay. Why? Well, because what I've been doing for the last 20 years just works. And then we'll have a moment of enlightenment. I'll ask a question that either tells me we're going to have this conversation, continue to have this conversation, or we're done with the conversation. I'll say, okay, so everything you've been doing for the last 20 years works. Are you still advertising the same way you did 10 years ago? Because I'm curious how the yellow pages are working out for you. And at that point, we have a moment of, okay, I get it. So for me, it's about changing the mentality of the business side of it versus trying to change the mentality of millennials, which I think is going to be an easier process. And every high school has a career day. And I think it's really important for you to be at a career day because we're going to be the only people that stand in front of these kids and young folks and say, you don't necessarily have to go to college. If you want to, that's great. No problem. But if you don't, it's okay. There's trades out there that can teach you stuff, and it's not redundant. It's not the same thing necessarily every day. There's something really cool about being in different houses for me and not doing the same thing every day. I think from an auto perspective, there's something really cool about getting to sit in the front of a car that's a $70,000 car or a $100,000 car. And it's not the same thing every day. So I think it's important to get in front of those folks, go do a career day. You'd be surprised what kind of feedback you might get. So what do you have to do to get content on your social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, whatever? You've got to do something super simple. You take your phone out, you walk out into your shop, and you take a picture of what you're doing, and you post it. And you do that, and you stay consistent, and you put content on your page. Again, why? Because when they're looking at you to be the employer that they're looking for, they want to know what you're doing, right? So you can actually show how rad the industry really is just by posting pictures of what you do every day. But I think that creating culture around what our trade is super important. And again, I don't think it's just one person's job. I think it's everybody's responsibility. So when you look up #Glazer, it doesn't come up with donuts or big pieces of ice.